What if I told you that there is a grave with 3 men in it, and on their gravestone reads, "Murdered by the RCMP," and that they were shot in a peaceful protest? Would you believe me? My source on this is Lauren. He's a 75-year-old man. He's local to the area. And personally, I think he's the foremost expert on this incident because, as a young man, he spoke to the old-timers directly and also read the book on this called Bienfait. Now, the media and the government have a different name for this incident. They call it the Estevan riot. I wonder why that is.
You had to shovel 40 ton, or you were not there.
And you shoveled that in one day?
One day, in 7 hours.
In 7 hours. How much would you get paid for that?
$4.
$4 for 40 tons of coal.
Right.
Was it hard shoveling?
I never seen anything closer to slavery than that.
Imagine crawling into a cave for between 9 and 10 hours per day and have someone lock the door behind you.
There were no such things as washrooms.
Many were infected with all sorts of creepy crawlers. Their condition was really quite bad.
And the miners in the Souris Valley barely had shelters. They could hardly be called homes. The miners decided that on the 29th of September, they would parade into Estevan and hold a public meeting to tell the townspeople of their plight.
The Bienfait miners and their wives and their children walked from Bienfait all the way to Estevan, Saskatchewan, which is 8 miles. It was a peaceful protest, and the reason I know why is because they had their wives and their kids with them. If you're going to do a riot, you don't plan on doing it with your family there.
Council quickly passed a bylaw preventing any such parade.
They said that they sent a telegram to the official at the union, and union claimed they didn't get it.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon on September 29th, some 300 to 400 miners paraded into Estevan, apparently unaware that they would be met by 20 armed policemen, a force that would grow within the hour to 55.
This is Mickey McKay, former police constable, sent there to shut the protest down. Let's see what he has to say.
But the parade was allowed to come right up to the 4th Street and to the intersection of 10th Avenue, I think it was, right by the police station, City Hall anyway. And there the amount of police lined up, and McCutcheon and I walked out to stop it. So we went out and he said, "There's no parade, you people have to go." And they weren't going to go, they started to fight us, and he grabbed one and was getting pretty sassy, and this lady hit him with the car axle, and that's when the stuff hit the fan.
So the locals say this statement is false, and I gotta wonder, why is a woman carrying around a steel car axle at a protest with her kids? And in the middle of a city, or a town back then, I don't know which one it was, where do you even find a car axle? So these RCMP were sent to shut down the protest. Apparently they had a fire truck with a crew. So these guys on the fire truck start spraying the protesters, consisting of men, women, and children. You can imagine how that went. One of the young gentlemen jumped up on the fire truck and he started chopping at the hose to stop this whole ordeal. And the RCMP shot him dead. When I think they probably could have shot him through the arm or the leg or whatever. But that's just my opinion.
And one of the strikers managed to get on the fire truck and seized an axe and was chopping at the hose. And he was shot and killed.
Nick Nargan died instantly from a bullet through the heart while trying to overtake the fire truck. Julian Grishko, who wouldn't be treated by local doctors because he was a Red, died on the way to hospital in Weyburn.
And in case you're wondering, a Red is a union member.
Peter Markunas made it to Weyburn, but died in hospital 2 days later. All 3 men were under 30 years old.
And you'll notice here that he doesn't even mention the fact that they had their wives and children with them. And some of the injured were wives and children. Because what I'm told is they were firing into the crowd.
23 others were injured by either flying weapons or bullets.
This is the town of Bienfait, Saskatchewan, which is the location of the gravesite of the 3 young men that died in the protest. Now you'll notice in this little yellow square here from their video clip that it is blank. That's important. I want you to see this. Let's look closely at their tombstone. It says, "Lest we forget, murdered in Estevan, September 29th, 1931 by the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police." This video footage was taken in November of 2025. And you'll notice here that that is indented. That is because somebody comes along every now and then and chisels away here where it says RCMP. and then the locals from the town come in and they write it all back in there again. Now what I kind of noticed was all three of these guys were buried together, and they have all the same tombstone. I think in order to have such a burial in such a way that it had to have been a catastrophic event on those miners, especially to write murdered by the RCMP. When I think about it, I think the families would have wanted to have a burial with their family and bury the ones they love. But as a community, they chose to put them all together. I think that is a statement in its own.